question. So what do you get when a little girl who's about her business inherits 160 acres of land?
Yeah,
You get yourself a movie based on a true
it's been a
story
ride.
called Sarah's Oil, and I'm looking forward to telling you guys more about
I
it.
guess I had
With
to
that being said, this is El
go
Camino,
to that
and
place to
welcome
get to this
to my
one.
Flick Report. So Sarah
And
Rector,
some
at
of
the
you
age of 10 or 11 years old, inherits
might
160
still be
acres
in that
of
place.
Indian land bestowed upon her because she's a descendant
If
of
you're trying
the,
to get out,
the Muskogee Creek Nation. But this isn't just any kind of land. This land, she truly believes,
you can
has
try and read my
oil
lyrics off of
that
this
can be dug
paper
from it.
before I lay 'em. But you won't
And
take
she
this
isn't just
thing
any
out the
person that doesn't know
universe
anything about
saying.
oil.
Cause
She
ain't no
knows
way
how
I'ma
to,
let you
she
stop
knows how
me
to
from
price it. She
calling
knows how much
your
she
name.
should be
When
getting.
I say
She
I'ma
also
do
knows
something, I
how much she
do
should be
it. I
charging
don't give a
people to
damn
lease
what you
her
think
land
I'm
as
doing
well.
this for
So
me.
needless to say,
So fuck the
she
world,
goes
baby,
into
baby,
town
got the 50,
with her
50 stopping
parents
me.
or whatever, trying
I'ma
to
be
find
the last
somebody to help
guy
her
to
out.
leave without a
They
doubt.
do end up finding
Dying
this
all
oil,
those rules
this
got
oil
me
company and
tearing
stuff to
down your
rent the land from
balcony.
them
No
or
ifs, ands, or
whatever.
buts, no
But they
trying to
tell them that
balcony.
the
And
land,
when the
is
dime to
coming
the
up
last
dry
three laps
and
out, but we
stuff.
still shitting
That is
whether
not the
we gon'
case though.
salary
So with
paid
that
out. Was
being
laying
said,
60 miles out or reaching the
Sarah takes
miles
matters
out
into
from
her own
whichever goes first
hands
for better
and
or worse.
finds
Keep
somebody that's
everything
willing to,
legal like a fuck you for Christmas.
tap into the land to find that
And
oil
forget
and
the rest.
stuff.
He's got the
And
nerve to pull his dick
needless to
from
say,
the
a whole bunch of things, come from that.
dirt. And fuck the whole
I
universe.
don't want to spoil the movie for you, but I mean, because it's based on a true story, you see that she ends up becoming like, pretty rich off of this oil and stuff. But that isn't that wasn't without its trials and tribulations. Keep in mind, this is taking place in like between 1911 and 1913. And she's a little black girl in Oklahoma. So I don't have to tell you, you guys are familiar with history, what kind of opposition that brought in the midst of her trying to secure the rights to her, maintain the rights to her own land while drilling for oil. Now, this is definitely one of these stories that should have been told to us in school, but for obvious reasons it wasn't. I'm glad to see, this generation now is getting ready to hear about these stories and stuff, because it paints a different narrative of what brothers and sisters of color were like, back in pretty much before, pretty much before the civil rights era and stuff. People had their own businesses. You had multi-millionaires that were brothers and sisters of color and stuff, and they were highly intelligent as well. And this is just one story that highlights that. This story is also about maintaining your faith and integrity in the midst of opposition as well, and being brave throughout the process. This is definitely a movie that I would recommend anybody go see, man. Definitely a family night out movie and stuff. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to it coming on streaming so that I can watch it some more and stuff. I wouldn't even be opposed to watching it again in the theaters, to be honest with you. But not based on the message alone, and it goes without saying, this movie is very, very inspiring. So for that
I
reason,
just
El
can't keep
Camino
living this
is
way.
going to rate this movie, Sarah's Oil,
So
a
starting today, I'm breaking out
Chuleta.
of this cage.
All
I'm
right, check
standing
it
up,
out.
I'ma
It's
face
in
my
theaters now.
demons.
You
I'm
all have a
manning
great
up,
day,
I'ma
and
hold
God
my
bless.
ground.
Peace.
I've had enough.